All right, so we've gone over the shape tools now. Now we're going to go over the pen tool. And as I mentioned, if you're familiar with the Photoshop pen tool or using the pen tool somewhere else, this will be pretty self-explanatory. But for those of you who've never used the pen tool, this should give you some information on how it works. Now, the thing about the pen tool is the more you use it, the better you'll get at it. It's kind of confusing at first, but once you use it, you'll kind of understand and get the gist of how it works. So what I'm going to do is first off change this composition setting, and we're going to change the background color back to like a dark gray, just so we don't have any clashing colors. So I've got a fill here. Now remember, when I was showing you how to add strokes and fills to your shapes, whatever you used previously, it's gonna save. The settings are gonna save for whatever previously set up shape or created shape that you use. So I'm gonna go in here to the stroke, and you notice how it's got the same color and everything. Well, if you click on the word stroke, it will allow you to change gradient or anything like that on the stroke. We're going to completely take it off and have no stroke. So now we've got our fill layer. Another thing you can do, which I haven't mentioned, if you click on the fill link, it'll allow you to change it to a gradient. Right now we're just going to keep it at one solid color. So let's go up to our pen tool. Now the shortcut for the pen tool is G. It's not actually P, and that's because there's a shortcut used down here for position, and that's actually P. So what we're going to do is make sure we have this selected, or you can hit G, and we're going to start drawing a shape. So I'm going to click once, and then as I hover over here, it doesn't do anything until I click. Now if I click again, it's going to make a straight line, but if I click and hold, I can make a shape with the pen tool, and watch what it does. It's going to create a part of a shape once we get this set up. So I'm going to use this, and I've got that circle point, which allows me to close the shape, and then I can use my move tool or selection tool to get the position. Now what happened was I created a shape mask on this tools layer, so I'm just going to delete that, and we're going to redo what we just did. Just click the pen tool, click and drag, and notice how we can create this shape by using the pen tool. So I'm just clicking and holding, and then I'm going to close it off by doing that. Now if I use my selection tool, make sure that's highlighted, we can click on our shape layer and move that around. We can also use Y to move our anchor point if we like to have that in the center, so that when we go to rotate it, it'll rotate there in the center. So start playing around with these tools and seeing what you can do with them. But the other things we can do with the pen tool is if we use G to select that and we hit it again, there's a couple different options. Notice this is changing up here. If we click and hold, we have add vertex, delete vertex, convert vertex, and then mask feather. I'm going to cover these adding and deleting, and we'll talk about the mask feather at another time. But right now, if you wanted to do an add vertex, you could go here and click on your shape and add another point basically on the shape, and then you can use some of these other things. If you want to convert vertex, you can move one that you've had and change the shape dynamically according to whatever point is on there. So you can also click here and go to delete. You can also do that by cycling with your G key. So we're going to go to the minus. Let's see here, delete vertex. Okay, and then we can remove the points if we'd like. So we're changing the shape after it's already been created. So now if we go back to our selection tool, we can highlight it, select our layer, and move it. We get these squares right around the edge of the shape. That lets us know that we can change it. So if I'm highlighting this, you can see that we can, resize the shape or do anything like that. So that's the pen tool. In the next one, we're going to go over more of the type tool, how to change, your scale of your type, and some other options that are up in here. So I'll see you in the next video.